Hi, welcome again to Christine's Corner. I'm glad you came back. I have a new guest. I ran into her a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I was getting food. But I have Pastor Rachel on my left, and she's a new pastor to the Lutheran Church on Camp Street. Can you say the whole name of the church?
I would love to. Okay. Well, hey, Christine.
Hi.
I'm Pastor Rachel Anderson. I'm the pastor of Gloria Dei Lutheran Church on Camp Street in Bristol, in the Forestville neighborhood of Bristol. And I'm also the pastor of St. Paul Lutheran Church in Terryville.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a St. Paul and Lutheran Church.
Well, now you know.
I noticed the collar. I've always seen only male pastors.
Yeah.
So
tell me
how's
more.
that?
Is this the first? Am I your first? That
I am.
Really?
It is.
Whoa, yeah. Christine, that's big.
No, I was like, wow.
Whoa, that's really big.
Yeah, I thought you were one of the helpers, and then she said, "Pastor." Oh, pastor? Oh, then I'm like, what's the name of the church? Because I go to the Catholic church.
Sure.
So I heard Lutheran are stricter, somewhat like a Catholic, but I don't know. So you know, so I can ask you, what's the difference between Catholic and Lutheran?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you asked me that question, Christine. So Gloria Dei and St. Paul. So I'm ordained in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. That's the denomination, the ELCA. So you, I imagine, are a Roman Catholic.
Yes.
So that's your denomination.
Right.
And
it's
so
all males, just
right. And so
they don't get married.
Right. And so Romans, that's their practice, is that priests are male and celibate. And so the 500 years ago, have you ever heard of Martin Luther? Ever heard?
Yeah, Martin Luther King?
No. Fast forward, we're rewinding the tape even further back. So Martin Luther in Wittenberg, Germany, 1517, the 95 Theses.
That's way back.
Way back. We're going way back. The 95 Theses. Ever hear about those?
No.
Well, so did you go?
I hear feces, and I'm not thinking church.
So no, not feces. Theses.
Oh, theses.
Oh, theses. Oh, the 95 Theses.
Oh, okay.
And so basically, and it was Martin Luther was a Roman Catholic priest, and he was encouraging his bishop and ultimately the Pope to amend the practice of indulgences. So at the time in the Roman Catholic Church, so the Roman Catholic Church was the church in 1517 in Europe. So if you were a Christian, you were a Roman Christian, Roman Catholic. There was the whole Eastern Orthodox section of the church, but so in this part of Europe, primarily we're talking about people who were almost exclusively Roman Catholic, and then of course you have people who are not Christian at all in Central Europe, Muslims and Jews.
Right.
So Luther was focused on, he loved the church, he wanted to help the church, and have you ever been to Rome?
Never. Think about it.
Well,
I would love to.
So, the artwork, you've seen pictures of the Sistine Chapel.
Oh, yes.
So this is when those pieces of art, like David, like it's the most incredible works of art that are imaginable, right? The Renaissance.
Right.
This is when all that's happening, and in large part it's being funded by the Roman Catholic Church, and it's being funded by these things called indulgences. So you and I, we're sitting in Wittenberg, Germany, and we don't have two nickels to rub together to feed ourselves. Meanwhile, someone comes from Rome, an emissary from Rome comes and say, your grandmother, your grandmother who died tragically, she's in purgatory. But if you give me your last nickel, I'll give you this piece of paper, this indulgence that says that your grandmother gets out of purgatory faster. And so Martin Luther, right. And so that's how they're funding stuff like the Sistine Chapel. And so Martin Luther goes down to Rome and he's a pastor. And so he's got this whole congregation filled with like everyday people, like regular people in his congregation who don't have two nickels to rub together, who he's watching them give everything that they have and suffer and struggle while
just to
they're
make sure they go to heaven.
Well, yeah. Right.
Straight on.
And right. And then he's also reading the Bible and he's like, wait a minute, there's nothing in here. Purgatory isn't even in here. What are they talking about? Like they're just taking advantage of these poor people and these ignorant people that they're keeping purposefully ignorant, because this of course is a time when the Bible had not been translated into the vernacular. The church did not allow the regular people to read it, because if we read it, then we would know purgatory wasn't real.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's like a really long explanation of the difference between the Lutheran. So ultimately, the Pope didn't like being told what to do. So the Pope then tried to kill Luther. Lots of really terrible things happened.
Pope?
And Pope Leo X, actually.
I think it's...
This guy seems really nice, though. I like this guy, Leo XIV. He seems like a good guy.
He has my uncle and my grandfather's name. So.
No kidding.
Yeah, the guys are great.
He's gonna be fantastic. Francis was fantastic, and of course the relationship between Lutherans and Romans has come a really long way over the last. I mean, we're talking about 500 years here.
Are you under the Pope too?
No. So
I mean, you just said...
Luther was among the sparks of the Protestant Reformation. So there's the Protestant Church and then the Roman Catholic Church are essentially at that point kind of like diverged. But our liturgy, if you came to Gloria Dei, you would be like, am I in a Roman Catholic church? Like I parade around in like all the vestments and everything. Like you would be like these hymns are awfully familiar. Like it's more the liturgy. We're very if I were to say we're a very liturgical tradition, there's a bunch of Roman Catholics and Episcopalians out there who would be like laughing at me, like I'll see your whatever it is that we do, and I'll raise you incense. We don't do the incense and stuff, although I wish we did.
That's good, because it makes me cough.
We don't have incense, Christine. You can.
It makes me cough.
But we've got organs.
Do you kneel too? Because
we don't. Nope. We don't do. There are definitely some Lutheran churches that have kneelers, and of course, the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, the ELCA, it's a mouthful.
Yeah.
An evangelical, not in like the scary, like take the Bible, beat you over the head with it sense of evangelical. Like I feel like people hear evangelical and they're like, you know.
I heard they're so strict.
Well, it's not. It's not. So evangelical comes from the German evangelisch, which just means gospel, good news, and so that's just. It essentially has, so the word evangelical has taken on a life of its own in the United States, in this part of the world. So it doesn't really stand for what it was intended to stand for when the denomination was, I think, created. It was trying to like hearken back to something that like isn't part of like the popular culture anymore. You know?
Okay.
But that's kind of par for the course with the church.
So what you said the which Bible do you follow? I mean, there's so many different.
Whoa. So there's only one. There's just the one. So, but I mean, like, there's different translations of the Bible.
Translation.
So, we're not the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. We are the most progressive of the Lutheran denominations in the country, because there's lots of different Lutheran denominations. But like, the ELCA is the largest Lutheran denomination in the country in terms of like the number of of the size of the denomination. There's something like 4 million ELCA Lutherans across the country, and there's something like 3 million Missouri Synod Lutherans across the country. So there's different
Lutherans?
Yeah, there's different kinds of Lutherans. And so like the Missouri Synod, for example, they don't ordain women. We are the only, well, I can't say that we're the only Lutheran denomination, but we are the largest Lutheran denomination that ordains women, and we're one of few that ordains women, which is awfully silly, but like.
Well, I mean, I'm glad every time I see a woman doctor and a male nurse, I'm like, yay.
Oh my God! Isn't it silly?
That means you can be who you want to be.
Yeah, well, it's actually really, really funny. Yeah, right. We, one of my predecessors, we have to do a year-long internship to be ordained in the ELCA, and so we have to do 4 years total of seminary.
I was going to ask you, is it the same as Catholic seminary? Because you say seminary.
Essentially, I imagine. So I did my undergraduate, got my bachelor's degree, and then I went right into the seminary. Sometimes, I mean, many of my colleagues live a whole life before they go right into seminary. I went right in from undergrad.
Oh, so you go to the regular college, and then you go into seminary.
Yeah.
And learn the.
Yeah, so you have to have a bachelor's degree in order to get into the seminary.
In anything?
Yeah, I mean, I suspect that that there are some things that might be more helpful than other things, but
Yeah, like human service, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's the most helpful. Now that I'm in it, I don't know what would be more helpful.
That's okay. I went to Springfield College School of Human Services, and I got my bachelor's in Human Services, but I also went to, I learned about, I forgot the name of it, but it was theology.
Sure.
I don't remember the whole thing, but I got to spend 10 days in Mexico to learn about the Catholic.
Oh, cool.
And it was so fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, being out of the country, it was different and scary at the same time. And learn about Mexico, the Catholic, how it's different, and living with the nuns, it was amazing. Speaking of nuns, so they can't get married, and the priests can't get married, but can you get married?
Oh, sure, yeah, I'm married, and that was actually one of the issues that Luther had with the Roman Church was the insistence on celibacy, and I think for a significant part of his life he accepted that and that practice, and even thought that it probably was something that was beneficial to the priesthood. But ultimately he also married a nun, Katie Luther, so she ran away from
The Catholic.
He didn't identify as a Lutheran. He identified as an Orthodox Catholic. And so many Lutherans anyway would identify as Orthodox Catholics, that like our expression of Christianity is closer to what I don't even know. It's all just a bunch of, we all just need to get together and get over ourselves.
Yeah. There's only one God.
Good Lord.
All
right?
different names.
Yeah.
But it's still one God.
Well, and there's an awful lot of people who would sit over here and argue with you that's not the case. I certainly would not be one of those people, of course. But isn't that silly?
Could be a male God and it's a female God. Why does it have to be a guy? it has to be a female. So
Yeah, well, that's
so
a
you
whole
just
other.
say higher power.
I almost always try, and that's a whole other a whole movement to
Yeah,
try
you don't
not
even want to
to.
go there.
Well, no, to try not to use male masculine exclusively masculine language to describe God or the divine,
Right.
because just like it's bad practice to have exclusively white European images of Jesus, to
Right, that was the other thing. Yeah,
yeah.
Jesus is not, who says that he's white, who says he's black. But he was Jewish. The Jewish, that's how
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about Jewish blacks or black Jewish, but I think just you believe that there's a higher power is just kind of smooths it all out.
I wish.
Uh,
I wish that was
for
smooth,
everybody,
smooth
so
it all out,
just
Christine.
so that they don't argue.
Amen. Word of Christine. I love that.
That
I'm going to tell him Christine
he's
said.
love.
We're doing this, people.
He's not a punish. He's not out to punish. He's like.
Amen.
Yeah,
I wish that's pretty much what I preach, love and justice and forgiveness and grace. That is the Lutheran take on Christianity is grace, that we're justified before God by grace through faith apart from works, that there's absolutely nothing we can do to make God love us any more or any less than God already loves all of us, just absolutely unconditionally.
Yeah, I think how you pray is how you pray. You're still believing and you're still feeling the positive energy. That's just my take. I mean, because it seems like a lot of these wars are just driven by religion and look what happy that is.
But I think religion has always been a very convenient excuse for conflict.
To have it their way.
Well, but anything is a convenient excuse. But I do believe that one cannot be a practitioner of certainly nothing that comes out of the New or Old Testaments. That's my area of expertise. But one cannot be a practitioner of something that calls anything in these texts sacred and then to harm another being, another created being, regardless of their religion, views or
morals or
where they come from or what they look like. It's really insanity.
Right. It shouldn't be the color of skin, where they come from, or they're just over the line in there. They believe it's like, I say tomato, you say tomato. So what?
Yeah.
It would be nice if the whole world.
Well, and that's pretty much the Jesus thing. I mean, Jesus loved everyone.
Right.
And told us to love everybody and told us not to tolerate the bullies. Like that we don't need the people in positions of power who are telling us that like we need them. That so I mean, Jesus is out there healing, feeding, caring for the lost, the least, people who, the sick, women, the disabled, like lepers, people,
the homeless,
foreign people who had no idea where, like what this guy was even saying because they didn't speak the same language as him, and he's just out there healing them, like, and they had to kill him for it, because it's just like if there was somebody out. Have you ever read in? Are you a reader, Christine?
I can't read. No.
So.
Well, I can read, but I.
Dostoevsky, all right, the brothers Karamazov, the Grand Inquisitor. Jesus comes back during the Spanish Inquisition, and he's out there and he's healing all these people, and all the people are like, oh my God, Jesus is back. We don't need those guys anymore. Those guys who prance around in their robes and then go around and killing all our neighbors. We don't need them anymore. And so the Grand Inquisitor rounds Jesus up and tells him, if you don't get out of here, we're going to kill you. So Jesus leaves. We don't need you anymore. We got this. We don't need what you're selling anymore, Jesus. We got this under control. Okay. I mean, look at the world. Would we, if a person walked around today healing everybody, do you think for 1 second that a healthcare CEO would tolerate that?
No. I think that a lot of people, no matter what their age, at different times, they see suffering and pain, and little children being abused in every form, and women, children, in every form. They're going to say, well, where is Jesus? Like you were saying, well, we didn't want to, and look how it is when you don't believe in me. But how can some of them will say, well, how can I believe if he can allow this to happen? So how do you give an answer for that one?
Yeah. I mean,
so I think that's a lot that they look at, and they think that the people in the church are holier than thou, and they're not going to let me in because I'm not like them, or they won't accept me because I don't read the Bible like they do, or pray like they do.
I genuinely would be very surprised, and I love you, my people, wherever you are in the world. I love you, and I believe I'm sure you are reading your Bibles, but I would be very surprised to find out if they were like reading their Bibles like regularly. You know what I mean? Like they're definitely, and like you guys are great, but like they're not like holier than thou. You know what I mean? Like, and I know perhaps that is the perception. I honestly would be surprised. I don't think that people in this area even think about us. You know what I mean? Maybe they do. I think that
that's the reason why you go to church, so you can keep the positive energy of Jesus and God. You know, together.
I don't know. Is that why?
That's what it's assumed to be, and then, but when
I genuinely don't know why people go to church. I genuinely don't know why.
I think that's where we're told that's where God is, and that's where He can find Him or talk to Him. But
God's everywhere.
Talk to Him anywhere.
I think that the church is where. Well, first of all, we gather for Holy Communion every week. You get your bread, you get your wine or your juice. Like I can't go a week without Jesus. And I'll tell you this, Christine, like Sunday morning is hard. It's hard getting there. You know what I mean? And by Sunday, I'm like, I don't think any of this is real. I think that this is all, I think that we're alone. There is no God. There's nothing. Like it's all. And then you start worshiping with a community of people who like love you unconditionally and support you. You start singing, you start like, and we, of course, in the Lutheran tradition, we do the stand up and the sit down, and you know, you're with your community, and it is, God is, it's not fake, it's real. It's all really happening. God, love is alive.
That's a good answer, and good catch. And well, not catch, but the other one is, if I pray more, then God will love me more or help me out more.
Oh my God!
I can't. I don't have time to pray all that way, that much. So God's not going to think kindly of me.
Oh my God!
So I can't go to church.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's so sad. That's so sad.
And I'm sure there's tons of other reasons, but just the normal. I
God.
worked all week. I can't get to church.
Well, that is reason enough not to go to church. I worked all week and it's Sunday and I am sleeping in. Yes, God is with me at brunch too in a couple hours when at a normal time of day. Yes,
Right.
absolutely. I feel that, but like to feel that like you can't be there because like you don't. Oh my God, I think I tell this story in my preaching occasionally that when my father died when I was 8 years old of cancer, and my mother was in an elevator. When she got back to work, she was in an elevator with one of her colleagues, a friend she'd known for years, and her colleague said to her, "Well, you know, if he had just wanted to live, and if God had wanted him to live, like he would have lived." That is such bad theology. It's bad theology, and it literally kills people. That's enough to drive somebody to some really dark places. And like what? Where on earth in the Bible, like show me the chapter and verse where it says that God is gonna like punish me by like, that's not at all what Jesus came to. Look at the people that Jesus served, the people who were cast out by society. The message of Jesus is that I'm with the poor. I prefer to be with the poor. You think that your good life is a representation of God's love for you, and that's garbage. It's garbage theology, and it literally kills people.
Well, I would love to keep going.
I would love to keep going,
But
Christine.
we have to close.
Ah,
I'm sorry.
bummer.
But I have to say that Tracy Carlson does an absolutely fantastic
Tracy,
job
yes.
on the food pantry
Yes.
once a month at the beginning of
The first Saturday of
Yes,
every
at the
month
church.
at Gloria Day Lutheran Church in Bristol
yes.
on Camp Street. Come on down
You
and
don't have to show that you're poor. You just
no,
come.
you just have to be a person who's hungry.
Right.
Good Lord,
Yeah.
come and hang out with us. We need more friends.
Right. So thank you for tuning in. Absolutely a lot of words to think about, and food for thought, as they say.
Food for thought. Oh yeah, and come to the Strawberry Festival on Saturday, June 14th.
Okay. So I love you, and see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Follow us on Instagram at nutmeg.tv.